I think it's a good thing for the Rwanda market. For one reason, I don't think the Rwandan market is ready for Uber, and I don't think the Rwandan market. Okay, I could say the Rwandan market wants Uber, but it doesn't need Uber. What the Rwandan market needs is a real investor. The likes of Uber, facilities or services that are good for mature market, a mature market or matured markets, whereby you just come in to tap into a need that comes with large overpopulated cities with a city travel problem. We are not like that. We are still a city of nearly 2 million people, or slightly more, slightly less. We are a city with, which is still very easy to get by. We still have a lot of options even without Uber. How does Uber work? You just have to look at them as they only give you an intermediary between you and somebody with a vehicle. Trust me, in this town, I don't know of anyone who doesn't have a phone number of a taxi guy, or a motor guy, So in a market like this, no one needs Uber. And two, in a market where we've just recently welcomed the Volkswagen to do almost the same thing, but with a physical investment, which is actually employing thousands of people in assembling cars and a couple of other chain jobs alongside the value chain, Uber is not necessary, because what are they bringing on the table? How much money are they actually going to invest?
You're talking about what they're bringing on the table, and it brings me to ask a question. The other day, I was speaking to the gentleman from Yego Innovation, the Yego Cab and Yego Taxi, Yego Moto guy, and well, more or less, I feel like Uber and Yego are doing slightly the same thing.
Far from it. I've interacted with the Yego story. I've visited their workshop, and they are doing something that Uber was not going to do. Yego is not an app. Uber, I look at them as an app. Oh, that's how they've marketed themselves. Oh, that's the perception I get when I hear Uber. If it's not true, then there is a communication or marketing communication problem. Yego have gone and faced this story. They have invested over 6 million in a platform that collects data and sees actually how an average taxi guy in Kigali operates, the number of trips they make, the amount of money they make. And they have actually come to solve a problem of the government. You remember in 2015, the regulator, Rwanda Regulatory Authority, decided that people should actually introduce the taximeter, the electronic meters, so that somebody doesn't have to haggle that I'm moving from my home to town. How much is it? The meter should be able to calculate that. But they didn't have the means to actually implement it. Now, Yego, they have brought in the technology to do that, and they're helping the regulator to do it for free. They have distributed meters to all, tax, operators in the city for free. So there is clearly value in this. They're employing several people at their workshop, different people who are working in the call centers to actually receive calls of people who call the Yego cabs on 9191. These are jobs. You can see jobs, you can see money, and that's okay.
Of course, we understand that Yego is heavy on data, and Uber doesn't necessarily need to rely more on the data. But let's just jump a little bit back into now disrupting the market. Of course, we know that disruptors may not necessarily follow all these policies that are in place. And what the biggest problem to this, what we saw from Rwanda Utility Regulatory Authority, is that there were some requirements that Uber was supposed to fill, but even to date, they did not reach the requirements. Does this necessarily mean that, hey, it can work?
Look, Michael, Uber, to me, and this is my opinion, or if it's shared by anyone out there, I'm glad. But I look at Uber as an exploiter. It doesn't. I don't look at them as the investor that is needed for an emerging market like ours. It doesn't add much value in terms of physical or actual investment. It's already riding on existing infrastructure, because it's not going to buy cars, it's not going to employ people. People already have their cars. So they are only bringing in an app in between to link, the user to the operator, which is not needed. Like I've told you, Even when my car breaks down, I would know who to call from my phone. You know, it's a small town. Two, if you look at normally innovations like this, Michael, they also move in tandem with the level of development of a country. If you look at the Rwandan economy right now, people who are kind of making it from lower income to a bit of middle income, they will want to own their own car, not to hail a car. Okay? So, and that's the majority. Everybody I know is working towards owning their car. I know a lot of banks who are doing well with the vehicle loan. That's because at this level of development in this economy, people would rather own a car than use 5K on average to hail a ride. Two, there are a lot of cheaper options, you know, that, you know, Uber is not solving any actual problem. You have the motor, unless actually, if you want to create business for cab hailing, you need to phase out the motorbike.
Ken, Q1, we saw ride-hailing up from Kenya, Little, also saying that they want to enter the Rwandan market. And they had put the timeline to be between July this year. And that was the same time that we were looking for Volkswagen to open their assembly plant and also jumping into the ride-hailing industry. This has stalled because it hasn't happened yet. Do you, in a way or another, get to find out what is stolen? Like I
said, it's a wave. Let's look at this as a wave in the ocean, and it will pass. This whole excitement of, I've been looking at the global markets. You know, a lot of tech companies are doing badly, and they are collapsing markets in the US and everywhere across the world. You know, the wave and the excitement and the bandwagon of, you know, all these disruptive technological innovations, it's good. You know, it's creating a few jobs for developers and a few people actually benefiting. But certain markets, like our particular market in Rwanda, I don't think, you know, cab hailing is a big deal at the moment, given our context. I think actually what would do well for us at this point in time is investing more in an efficient public transport means. That's why companies like Tap and Go are doing well, because that's where the real need is. You know, people have bought over 1 million Tap and Go cards. Ask yourself why. Because actually this is what people need. Traveling for 200, traveling for 300 in a day.